You know, there's this feeling in the air, right? This anxiety about AI. And let's be real, the big question for most of us is pretty simple. Is it coming for my job? So let's get into it. Yeah, that's the big one, isn't it? And look, this isn't some far off sci fi thing anymore. It's happening right now. We're already seeing the first impacts, and they're carving out a massive new economic divide across the globe. Now, you've probably heard this debate before. On one hand, you've got the optimists saying, hey, relax. New tech always creates new, better jobs. It's always worked out. But then there's this other argument, and it's a powerful one. This time feels different. For centuries, we built machines to replace our muscles, right? And that freed up our minds. So, what happens when the machines replace our minds? What's left for us to do? And while nobody has a crystal ball, here's the thing. We don't actually need one. We can already see what's happening. The first waves of this AI revolution are crashing down, and they are not hitting everyone equally. Not even close. And just look at these numbers. It's pretty striking. The US is projected to get a huge 5.4% GDP boost from AI over the next 10 years. Other wealthy countries, they're right behind. But then you look at developing nations, and their gains are so much smaller. The gap is getting wider. This tech is basically pouring fuel on the fire, making the world's richest countries even richer and leaving others struggling to keep up. To make this real, let's go to the front line. Let's talk about the Philippines. For decades, a huge part of their economy has been built on the outsourced service industry, call centers, data entry, basic tech support. These jobs felt safe. They seemed to require a human touch. Well, turns out AI is getting really, really good at faking that human touch. And we are not talking about some small corner of their economy here. This is a massive deal. The business process outsourcing sector, or BPO, in the Philippines is worth a staggering $37 billion a year. It's a cornerstone of their entire economy. But forget the money for a second. Let's talk about people. We're talking about 1.3 million jobs. And these aren't just jobs. They are the backbone of the country's middle class, making up over 7% of the entire country's GDP. Okay, now here's the punch to the gut. The IMF estimates that a shocking 89% of those jobs are at high risk of being automated by AI. That's more than 1 million people who could see their livelihoods just vanish in a few short years. So the big question is, why? Why is this happening? All right, to really get this, we have to break down the two different hats AI can wear in the economy. Think of it as AI the helper versus AI the replacer. And this difference, it's everything. So first up, you've got the helper AI. The fancy term is complementary capital. But it's simple, really. This is tech that makes a human worker better and more productive at their job. The classic example is a combine harvester. It didn't get rid of farmers. It turned one farmer into a superstar who could do the work of 20. The person and the machine work together, and the worker is still crucial. But then you've got the replacer AI. Economists call this substitutive capital, and it does exactly what it sounds like. It replaces the human completely. Think about an AI chatbot. It doesn't help the customer service agent. It is the customer service agent. The human is just gone from the equation. And this is where you can really see that economic divide opening up. For highly skilled jobs, AI is often the helper. A doctor uses an AI to analyze an X-ray faster so she can spend more time with the patient. Her skills become even more valuable. But for more routine, predictable tasks, like a junior developer writing simple code, the AI becomes a replacer. It just does the job instead. So what does this all lead to? A truly mind-boggling concentration of wealth. We're talking about AI adding something like $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. But get this, 70% of that is expected to land in just two countries, the US and China. Why? Simple. Because that's where the handful of giant companies that own and control this new technology are located. Okay, so this sounds pretty scary and new. But the truth is, we've seen this movie before. We know what happens when a whole section of the economy gets upended by technology and globalization. Just think back to the decline of American manufacturing. In the 80s and 90s, a one-two punch of automation and outsourcing just hammered the factory sector. Between 1980 and 2010, the US lost over 7 million of these jobs. And for the most part, they never came back. And those jobs weren't spread out evenly. They were clustered in specific places. Cities like Detroit, Cleveland, Youngstown, the Rust Belt.
These were towns built around good, stable factory jobs. And then, almost overnight, poof, they were gone.
And the fallout was just devastating. It wasn't just about losing a paycheck. In a lot of these towns, life expectancy actually went down. We saw the opioid crisis explode, and the new jobs that did eventually show up, they paid way less, with worse benefits. It's a really harsh lesson that the short-term pain for specific communities can be catastrophic, and the inequality it creates can last for generations. So, that's the problem. It's big, it's complex, it's scary. What on earth can we do about it? Because AI isn't slowing down. But whether it becomes a tool that deepens this divide or one that helps close it, well, that really comes down to the choices we make right now.
Okay, so here's a possible game plan. First, countries have got to invest, not just in the fancy AI tech, but in people at the same time. We need to focus on reskilling for the things that make us human, right? Critical thinking, creativity, problem solving, stuff AI still can't touch. We also have to get the 2.6 billion people who are still offline connected to the digital world. And crucially, we have to beef up our social safety nets to give people a cushion so they have the time and the space to retrain and adapt when their job disappears. And this isn't just some academic wish list. Countries that are on the front lines of this are already moving. Take Bangladesh. They've already put out a national policy on this. They're focused on building up their AI talent and modernizing education to protect jobs. It's basically a blueprint and a warning for everyone else.
Which brings us right back to the biggest question of all. AI is going to create trillions and trillions of dollars in new wealth. It is going to change everything. There's no doubt about that. The only question that really matters is this: who gets to build it, who gets to govern it, and who ultimately gets to benefit from it all?